Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Corner. Today is your episode 92. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how I almost got scammed. Yes, you heard that correctly. I almost got scammed, which is to myself, I'm very surprised that I actually fell for the scam. But you know what? Let's talk about that. So, what happened? I've been on Xiaohongshu going through a lot of things, and then somehow this Upwork stuff came across my feed. And I saw, you know what? I'm staying at home, I'm doing nothing, so might as well just do some side hustle to make some kind of pocket money. And then I went on Upwork and then registered. So I created everything I was supposed to. And then I was just waiting for some opportunities, of course. And then this email came through saying that they're looking for typists, and writing project help. And then something else like, oh, that's all I was interested in. So I wanted to do that. And, when you're staying at home, you kind of started to become very lazy, and then you just want to do some basic entry level work. I can do that. I'm typing fast, so I definitely can. So I sent my proposal, and I was really treating that seriously. So I sent my proposal, and right away I got a message from this company saying that, well, thank you for your proposal. Please message this. And then I was first kind of very unsure about it because he asked me to talk to some guy on Telegram. And I was like, okay, if you're doing this, you're supposed to do this on this platform. Otherwise, if you're doing that outside of this platform, all your rights are not guaranteed, not protected. So I wasn't really sure, right? So I kind of suspected something going on. So that's the first red flag, right? And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna just take a risk and see what's going on. Because when I went to look for, I was checking the validity of Telegram, and then I said, well, it's kind of like a WhatsApp, WeChat, Messenger, things like that. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. Then I added this guy. I download everything, put my information there, registered account for Telegram, and added this guy. And then so introduced myself. Hello, I was referred to you by someone, and this guy responded right away. But the funny thing is, this is a second red flag. Okay, so this guy said, "Hello, I'm Mr. Jack Lucas." So first of all, nobody called themselves Mister. Okay, you don't introduce yourself saying I'm Mr. something, I'm Mrs. something, or you just say I'm someone. And I was really, not very sure. And then his message is not full of grammar mistakes, but very odd. It just doesn't sound authentic. So I feel like this guy either in a rush to type something for me, or his English is really not good. So it didn't really, it wasn't smooth. So put that way. So I already found two red flags so far, but I still was like, I'm gonna give it a try. Even my husband said, "Well, I just it sounds very odd. It just sounds very fishy." So, well, I don't know. I just want to give it a try because on the website it says it pays you $25 to $30 or something. So when you look at a job that doesn't pay you really well, or not, like, it doesn't pay you a lot, then it sounds pretty legitimate, right? Then I said, well, and then I introduced myself, and he was asking about my phone name, my email, and my uh, age. So when people ask me about my age, my first question is, why do you need my age? Right? Is that necessary information for you? Because you would never ask somebody for their age when it comes to job interview. I said, well, I don't think that matters. So I didn't really give him my age information, and he didn't care too. So that's a second thing. I was like, very interesting. What's going on? And then I asked a bunch of questions like, what is a project? And what should I do? He That's the third red flag. He didn't respond to my question. He didn't answer my questions clearly. When I ask you, do you like me? You either say yes, no, or kind of so. You don't say, well, I like someone else, right? You're not trying to avoid my questions, but he seemed like he was trying to avoid my questions. And then right away, I feel like, that's very suspicious. And then I asked, how do you pay? And then he listed a whole bunch of methods for payment. And I said, oh, I do PayPal. And then anyway, so far so good. And then he said, we're doing this typist work, like a project. It's 100 pages of something you're going to have to type uh, everything on the image to a Word document, then convert the Word document into PDF, things like that. So I was talking to my husband about this. 100 pages is a lot, right? And my husband just proposed a question. He said, well, there are a lot of tools that you can convert images or PDF documents into Word documents. Why do you need someone to do that and then convert the work back to PDF? And I was still trying to find excuses for this guy. I was like, well, sometimes maybe when you convert it and then the format is not right, or still like manually do things is better than a computer or something like that. So I said this, and my husband was like, I'm still not sure. I said, well, you know what? If it's a fraud, okay, I'm not losing anything other than my time and effort, right? As long as I'm not losing money, I think I can learn a lesson from it. I'll pay my fee by, using my effort and time. And my husband, sure, go ahead. And they pay really well. It's a $25, 25 US dollar per page. For 100 pages is 2,500 US dollars. That's a lot of money. And then that is, I don't know, number 4, number 5 red flag. You don't pay that much for a really basic job. Really. Like you will think, why? That job doesn't deserve that much money. If that job deserves that much money, then why am I a teacher? I should do something else. Anyway, so I from okay, very interesting. But of course, because 2,500 US dollars sounds super appealing, I said I'm gonna give it a try. So I said you're gonna have to send me like a sample of your project, like what I'm supposed to do. I want to estimate how much time I need, and then I can submit the project, the work before deadline. Because he told me I need to do this within 2 days. So it sounds very urgent, right? And then my husband made a good point. 100 pages is a lot. I don't think you have the time and effort to finish that within 2 days, because you have newborn and you're taking care of everybody in the house. I just think it's like a mission impossible. I said, well, if you can share some with me and maybe we can finish that, you know what? It's a $2,500. Why? And then he said, I can do it. I'm just not sure if this is very legitimate or not. And then so far, I was still trying to, talk him into this thing and still trying to do it. And I asked a whole bunch of questions. And I said, what if I can't finish within 2 days? And then this is a number 6, maybe red flag. He said, you will be given additional time. And then wait a second, because normally when you have a deadline and you can't finish it, they'll push you to finish that. They don't give you additional time. If you get additional time, then there's no deadline. Then why do they tell you to finish that within 2 days? So for me, that part didn't really make sense when I saw that. And again, his English really bothered me when I read whole messages. So I was like, I'm not really sure. But I still kept going, and I actually copy and paste. So, that's really fast. So I copy paste 100 pages into a Word document, and I was really proud. I was actually going through everything to check the format, spelling, and the font. And he even gave me requirements about the font size and the format, and then how they want me to do it. So far, so good. And then halfway through, and I said, let me just Google first. Then I went to Google this, and I went to Xiaohongshu is my favorite. I went to Xiaohongshu and I checked. A lot of people actually fell for that, and then really got scammed. And the funny thing is, they all said before they started the project, they told them to transfer $80, $100 advance fee so they can get their money back. It's called like a registration fee or something like that. But this is refundable, so they pay now, they will get it back. And of course, $80 versus $2,000, you'll pay $80 for $2,000. So they all did that. And they said, oh, they fell for that, and they lost money, things like that. And I said, okay. So mine is not too bad because he didn't ask me for $80. He was just talking about the thing. And I even asked questions, like technical questions about, oh, I saw some text with the line crossed. Should I type those words too? And I said, yes, you should. Okay. And so far so good. So I still did it. But after I read all those, posts and the kind of warnings, and I realized I'm going to try this thing. I'm not going to finish that. I will give it a rough draft and I see how he would respond. And he texted me every day at 9 o'clock, say hello. That's it. And I don't respond to hello. And in 10 minutes, he will send another email. How's it going on your project? Then I told him that I'm two-thirds finished, but I still need a little bit more time. And then he said, all right. He likes all right this sound. Then I kept going, which is I wasn't. And then the other day, hello, and nothing. And then how's it going? So I respond, oh, I'm about to finish. I need a little bit more time to just kind of polish that. And then he sent me another message, hello, and I said, I'm finished. And he told me to submit my proposal to this email, and which I did. And then he actually texted me, did you submit your proposals? Yes, I did. Then got an email saying that this was this how they reviewed everything and how my proposal got approved, and then this is the following steps. So I said, that is a lot of words to read and to check. You know what I mean? If you are really careful about spelling and a format, that takes probably if you are fully into it, that probably takes approximately a day or two nonstop to check it. But they responded within 2 hours. So I felt like, hmm, that's very interesting, right? And then this guy, Mr. Jack Lucas, asked me to screenshot my email and then send it to him. So I did. And then he said, okay, and this is what you need to do. And then they sent me another email saying that this is what I need to do. A very long email, very detailed. And they asked me to pay $80. And I'm like, finally we got here. Because he was on me for 3-4 days. I'm not going to make his job easy because he was so hoping for the money, right? So I said, I will wait. And then as soon as I got an email with a $40 pay sign, so I asked him, oh, so I wonder, why do I need to pay $80? And then he didn't answer that question. He went on something else, blah, 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 blah. Of course, he couldn't answer that question. So I was just very curious. And I said, okay, I need to know why. And then he explained everything. I said, oh, it sounds reasonable. And how do I pay? And then he got jacked. He said, how would you like to pay? I said, PayPal is my thing, so I want to pay with PayPal. And he said, stay active, stay right there, and just wait for email. And I was waiting for email, didn't get anything. In 30 minutes, he asked me, are you there? Are you still active? I didn't respond, and I just totally ignored it because I wanted to do this video. So I screenshot everything. Of course, I had to check the messages, and he saw me online and checked the messages. So he right away sent me another message. Are you still on the project? And he actually called me twice at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, you know what? Then I start to think about how come, as a well-educated person, how come I almost fell for the scam? I don't understand. I'm a very cautious person when it comes to things like that. I normally be, I want to double check it. I want to think twice about it. But this time I didn't. I was actually pushing it. I was actually saying good things for this person so I can get this job. When my husband and my mom were trying to tell me or trying to convince me, you really need to think about it. So very interesting. So I went to read some articles and I found some very interesting things. And I'm going to just use my notes here. And if you want those notes, you know where to find it. So first one, sorry, I think Bob is just sleeping. First one is a trust, right? Of course, I have to trust it first. And it says scammers often exploit the trust people naturally have in others. So sometimes they present themselves in a legitimate authority and they say, I'm from a government, I'm from some department. And I'm sure some of you might got phone calls saying that you're from like a border security, those kind of things. So from me, for this one, I think what he said, how they gained my trust first was they were introducing their company with the full information there. It sounds very good, but I was just like, I'm doing this job. You don't have to introduce your company there, but which he did. So I felt like they took time to really convince me to believe them. This company is real. So of course, first part, they gain my trust. Second one is emotional manipulation. It says scammers may play on emotions such as greed, fear, or urgency to cloud judgment or rational thinking. So here, urgency was my thing, right? And he told me I needed to finish the project within 2 days. So right away, I felt like it was such a big project with a short time. So of course, it was real, right? If you really need to fish somebody, you don't give them deadline. You just really want them to do it and then get money. So that's what I thought. And maybe that clouded my thinking, right? So I forgot about that. And another one is very interesting. I had to really Google it, and I use it, of course, ChatGPT right now is my best friend. It's called social engineering. It sounds very technical, but the thing is, social engineering is actually just psychological techniques. So they're using a lot of techniques to fish you. So what kind of techniques there? Here is, so first one is impersonation. Impersonation. So the attacker pretends to be someone else, like a trusted authority figure or colleague, or again, the victim's trust and extra sensitive information. So this guy, of course, pretended to be the manager of the company. Another one is a phishing, right? So the attacker sees deceptive emails or messages that appear to be from a reputable source, tricking recipients into clicking on malicious links, providing personal information, or download a malware. So I didn't really, I mean, I've seen emails like that, but I know they're fishy. So I never clicked on that. But for this guy, because he was on Upwork, so I trusted him. And of course, on Upwork, it says his payment was verified. So if you verified your payment, then you get my trust, right? So I thought, well, it's a pretty big website. Another one is pretexting. The attacker invents a false scenario or pretext to manipulate victims into revealing confidential information or granting access to secure areas. I've never seen this, but one of my students a long time ago had this situation. They said something wrong with his bank account, and then send a link, and he clicked on the link, and then they asked him to type, of course, passwords and everything. He typed it 3 times, and then now said wrong. He said, I was sure it was correct, but he typed it 3 times and still didn't realize that was fishy and scam. So, of course, he lost his passwords and he lost $1,000 there. Tailgating. The attacker follows or accompanies an authorized person into a restricted area by exploiting their trust, often through friendly conversation by pretending to be in need of assistance. They just follow you closely like this guy, really trying to do a follow-up. Right? And it's, are you okay? Are you really on the project? Are you finished? Right? They feel like they're in urgent to push you to finish the subject so they can get that and you can get money. And the next one is some biases. People tend to believe cognitive biases. People tend to believe authorities, certain figures, that if you say your doctors and your teachers, your government officials, they tend to believe you, right? So that is your biases. And we talk about something about that when we were talking about what's the book, Talking to Strangers, and even Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. So check out those books. Next one is financial depression. Well, I kind of have depression. Financial desperation. Well, when you are experiencing financial difficulties, you really kind of in a rush to make a lot of money. And here is an opportunity. Of course, you're going to grab it, right? So when you're so desperate for something, you don't even think about that. And same thing is when you're sick, when somebody else close to you is sick, you want some solutions, you want antidote, then you go for it. You don't even think twice, right? So next one is for me, it's called increased heuristic thinking. Using large sums of money, promise of cures, etc. Higher heuristic processing might lead to lower rational processing. They could also use scarcity or time pressure to get people to respond immediately. This also reduces rational processing or the ability to verify information provided by scammer. Totally me, right? So they promised me a large sum of money, 2,500 US dollars. Very, very, appealing. And then second, it says, they gave time pressure. Then I don't have much time to finish that. But of course, I'm going to hurry up to finish it. That feels like I need to do something. So that is very me for this one. So, you know what? Sometimes you don't have to be dumb to believe, even you're well educated, even you're smart, and people still fall for it, right? So next one is in the door. Okay. So by getting you to commit to small commitments first, people want to retain consistent and are hard pressed to say no later after saying yes earlier. Scammers build momentum in this way. So kind of feels like me, halfway through, right? I already foot in the door. I already finished the project. I definitely put a lot of time and effort there, so I want to get my money back. Even though I felt like it was fishy, but I still felt like it might be hope because I don't want all my effort to go nothing. So that's why, foot in the door sometimes it really can get you. And last one is sunk costs. And also kind of similar to foot in the door. After victims transmit a small sum of money, could be the $80. Scammers explain that more money might be needed to complete the transaction. Victims comply because they do not want to lose the time, effort, or money that they had initially invested, even if it might not be the most rational thing to do, right? So you already put a lot of things there, might as well just keep going. So that is sunk cost. It sounds ridiculous, but when you are in that situation, you really don't think about those things at all. Very, very interesting. I found that very interesting. And then it reminded me one of the lessons I actually taught my students. I taught a lesson like that. It's called Nigerian Prince. If you're very interested, go ahead and look it up. It's very interesting. When we were talking about Nigerian Prince, we're talking about something called advance fee. So basically, it means when you do something, when you want to get money back, you have to pay some money first. This money doesn't have to be very large, doesn't have to be a lot, right? It can be a couple bucks, it can be $80, $100. So people are willing to pay for it to get even more money out of this guy's pocket. So that's why they don't ask you for a lot. They ask you for a minimum not minimum, kind of reasonable amount of money. This is back to 1990s. They're not really clear about the region, but back to 1990s, this guy claimed to be a Nigerian prince, and then he had a lot of money, but he could not transfer money outside of Nigeria, so they need some help. So if you are willing to help him, then you can inherit a sum of money. Which sounds really dumb, but back to 1990s, right? And technology wasn't really well developed, so a lot of people, of course, fell for it, and it was a lot of money, right? So there's a appealing a lump sum of money there. So and now people refer to like advance fee or something like that. Nigerian prince scam or fraud is basically just get money out of your pocket first. So to be able to get the money, they will tell you a story. So you want to make more money or you want to inherit the money. But it's like when you deposit. So when you take money from ATM machines, then you have to pay a certain transaction fee. That's a transaction fee, right? For them, same thing. You want to get $2,000, you have to pay $80 to get the transaction fee. The funny thing is, I told that guy, you can deduct it from my pay, and then he went on like how he could not deduct $80 out of my pay or something like that. Very funny. So that was my story about this solution. Now I was thinking solution is don't make rushy decisions. You know what I mean? If something happens like that, you have to remind yourself there's no such a thing like this because it's too good to be true. If you think it's too good to be true, or you sometimes think, so this is the imposter syndrome works, is that you think you don't deserve it, and then that might help, right? So I feel like, does that job need to pay someone $2,000 to finish it? Is that too good to be true? Then you ask yourself those kind of questions. If that's a thing, that's a red flag. You really have to think about it. But if you are, because you are in the situation, of course your mind and your brain, your thinking are all clawed up, and then don't make a decision right away. Even though they pressure you to do it, then don't do it. Step away from the situation. Even go for a walk, do something else, have a look, whatever you do, just a step away from the situation, and then rethink about it. Even do some research. That's what I did after I finished halfway through. Then I'm glad I did research, so I didn't. Well, the funny thing is now I'm thinking about using that for my video. I don't think that's too bad because I got a story to tell. But if you really are just looking for a job opportunity, and then you will feel really bad first because your money, effort, and then your time are all gone and then you got nothing, and then you start to hate yourself because you're so dumb to believe it. And of course, if you tell your friends will say, well, why are you so dumb to do it? They just blame victims, right? So as a victim, we're already in this bad situation. I still got blamed because you're not supposed to do this. If you're not like this, you won't get fished, right? So that's some sort of things you can do to help yourself. Very simple, just step away from the situation. If you have access to YouTube, there's a guy called a Scammer Payback. Very interesting guy, very popular. Basically, what this guy is doing is to hack the scammers. The funny thing, I just watched one. It's kind of the same thing. So the call center, right? They call from India about, this is whatever department you're supposed to cancel or pay something about your subscription, but you have to pay certain fee or something. So this guy called the call center, started to kind of make fun of them, and then this guy, the YouTuber, also got his friend, a hacker, to hack into their system to monitor their computer. They said they found out a lot of people actually fell for that trap and lost their money. So they were really out there doing something good for average people there. And it's very interesting to see that they even found the exact location of their call center and really scared those people, those scammers. Some of the videos that they even helped officials catch those scammers. And I think another one is he designed certain things like a farting machine and put it outside, and then people come to steal their package. They steal the whole thing with the camera, everything. So very interesting. If you're interested, go ahead and check out this guy. And also, you know what? You can learn English and learn how to stay away from scams. Anyway, I hope my stories entertain you. That's everything for this video. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Take care and don't fall for the scams. Bye.